Native American Students and First-Year Programs by Emma Beamer and Diana Onco. We will begin with an introduction and follow with History of First-Year Programs, History of Native Student Success, Present State of Native Americans and First-Year Programs, the University of Arizona First-Year Scholars Program, Future Trends, and end with a conclusion.
There are over 500 Native American communities in the United States. Most are in very remote areas where higher education is not easily accessible. It is important that the American Indians who pursue a college degree make it to graduation. 42% of Native Americans have pursued some kind of higher education, but only 13% have successfully earned a bachelor's degree. First-year experience programs are common among most universities, offering resources and guidance to freshmen with the goal of freshman to sophomore retention as well as overall academic success. In this presentation, we will be looking at first-year programs and how this could be beneficial to the success of the Native American student. First-year programs can be found at most American colleges and universities and are designed to assist students successfully transitioning from high school to college. There are several programs and departments that encompass first-year programs: new student orientation, residence halls, academic advising, and first-year seminar courses. Throughout the first year, students learn and develop time management skills, study skills, and financial management skills, just to name a few, as well as learning how to get involved at their university, network with professors and other faculty, and utilize resources at their university to succeed. Studies have shown that when a student knows and feels connected to their university, they are more likely to be academically successful. The story of first-year programs starts back in medieval times. Students would leave for university between the ages of 13 and 16, find a boarding house, and start shopping for a master of arts that he wanted to learn from. He would also be trying to get initiated into a society of scholars. This initiation included severe hazing by upperclassmen and ended with a celebration feast paid for by that first-year student. This feast was usually very expensive and left the student with little money. Students would often write home asking for more money. From the 13th to the 21st century, I guess some things never change. The first American freshmen were at Harvard University in 1636. The first master, or professor, was Nathaniel Eaton. Students would live in the home of his wife and be taught lessons by Eaton. Since this was the first class, there were no upperclassmen to haze the freshmen. However, Eaton's wife made life unbearable in the boarding house, and Eaton would often flog his students for disciplinary measures. In 1640, Eaton and his wife were dismissed, and Henry Dunster, Harvard's first real president, took office. Shortly after taking office, Dunster changed the curriculum to one subject per day and by rational measure. To supplement this new curriculum, he hired tutors and/or graduate students to look out for their younger counterparts. By asking these graduate students and tutors to be friends and counselors to the freshmen, Harvard developed the first system of freshman counselors, an important aspect of current-day first-year programs. In 1655, President Chauncey of Harvard increased freshman admission requirements to include writing and speaking Latin and Greek, as well as reading and understanding classical literature. This change caused faculty to eventually claim that freshmen were not properly prepared for college work. Even more explanations could be made for poor freshman performance: extracurricular activities such as sports and politics, and even hazing and acts of servitude demanded of the freshmen by the upperclassmen. The hazing and servitude was accepted by Harvard through the creation of the College Customs, which was read by upperclassmen to the freshmen every year. However, with increasing demands of students in the 1770s, the freshmen began having more access to faculty. This increased freshman-faculty relations, and in turn, the faculty were able to reduce the enforcement of the traditions. Around 1889, a board of freshman advisors was formed at Harvard, which aimed to help orient and counsel students in their first year. Exclusive societies dominated the thoughts of freshmen in the early 1900s. Severe rivalries became so intense that these student organizations developed resistance to investigation. To counteract this chaos, Harvard constructed freshman residence halls in 1914 to bring the focus of college back to academics rather than exclusive memberships. These halls were also meant to offer social activities for freshmen. Literature giving advice to freshmen about possible dangers of the first year began popping up in the early 1900s as well. Older students and professors often warned freshmen about getting too close to some people, of temptations such as gambling and dating, and also the dangers of ignoring traditions. Once the topic of freshman students caught the eyes of scholars, scrutiny availed. Problems that freshmen experienced were becoming apparent, and in the 1920s and 30s were identified as curriculum adjustment, influence of older students, time management, financial management, student activities, and difficulties with the transition from home to college. The solutions were determined to be careful counseling and structured orientation programs. In the 1930s, Yale began dividing up their freshmen into small groups, with a faculty member assigned to each. While these faculty were meant to be curriculum advisors, there is evidence that they also played the role of psychoanalyst, social mentor, taskmaster, and probably heard student confessions one too many times. World War I saw a huge growth in orientation courses addressing topics such as handling adjustment issues, how to study, and citizenship. Today, first-year programs are still striving to make the transition from high school to college as smooth as possible for first-year students. This successful adjustment is even more important for Native Americans. European settlers inhabited New England in the early 17th century and brought with them the commitment to religion and education. Harvard College was founded in 1636 as the first higher education institution in North America. In the 1640s, the English Society for the Propagation of the Gospel Among the Natives in New England directed funds to Harvard for American Indian education and acknowledged the importance of education of both English and Indian youth. Unfortunately, only one Native American, Caleb Chishitumuk, of the class of 1665, lived long enough to receive a Harvard degree until the 1970s. Dartmouth College was founded in 1769 as a school for both English and American Indian students. However, in the school's first 200 years, only 19 Native Americans graduated. This changed in 1970 when Dartmouth President John G. Kameny pledged to refocus Dartmouth's purpose to its founding purpose and increase opportunities for Native Americans in higher education. Harvard and Dartmouth were the first colleges designed for both European and American Indian students. However, these non-native educational systems soon overpowered the education system of the native people. With the goal of assimilation and acculturation, the use of white standards and values kept native students from attending higher education programs. Native students were just not interested. Ethnocentric education efforts led to the development of the tribal colleges in the 1970s to try to increase Native American access to higher education. The Higher Education Act of 1965 provided some assistance in the development of these tribal colleges, followed by the Indian Education Act of 1972 and the Indian Self-Determination and Education Assistance Act of 1975, all of which helped provide funding to American Indians. The first tribal college, Diné College, was founded in 1968 on the Navajo Reservation in Saline, Arizona. With the development of tribal colleges, Native Americans soon saw an increased interest in education at all levels, and the need to preserve their cultural practices and traditions. Tribes are currently in a time of cultural revitalization and nation building, with a drive towards higher education to bring about economic and social development. While there is an increased interest, Native Americans have not seen a higher percentage of student success. The national graduation rate is 59%. while the Native American graduation rate is only 39%. In 2004, only 42% of Native Americans pursued some kind of higher education, but only 13% completed a bachelor's degree. Historically, Native American cultural values were blamed for the low academic achievement. Typically, if Native American and Alaska Native students perform below the level of their white counterparts on some measures, the fault is laid at the feet of Native culture and not the schools. Some of the key factors that positively affect Native American student success include strong family support, positive interactions with mentors, clear educational goals and personal motivation, institutional support, and the ability to function biculturally. So how have first-year programs assisted in the academic success of Native American students?
In referencing data from the present status of Native Americans and the use of first-year programs, I will be taking information from the 1990s into today. From 1988 to 1997, the retention rate of Native American students has changed very little, with an average of 45%. In the research survey entitled The Native American Experience in Higher Education, more than half of those who leave before graduation do so in the first year. Key factors include insufficient academic preparation, financial problems, personal and/or family difficulties, and adjusting to university lifestyle. Based on this information, many universities have created and customized their individual programs to address the need for support to Native American students in the first year, and in some cases, the second year. The best approach is giving the students an opportunity to be fully immersed and integrated into an institution. Most models for retention are based on mainstream values and are not inclusive to the Native American student. Within Wells' research, he identified 30 higher education institutions that had high proportions of Native American students. From these 30 institutions, 17 responded saying that they do have some level of support for Native American students, such as orientation programs, counseling, advising, attendance, career development, and financial aid services. In 1995, Sam Miner interviewed 22 Native American students that had attended and later dropped out of their first year in college. One student stated, "It would be nice if we had a place where Indian students could meet and talk. Now we all go our own ways and never get together. We need a place like this and someone to go to." For instance, Northern Arizona University has a program called PEER, which stands for Providing Encouragement to Empower and Retain Students. This program targets freshmen who are in freshman seminar courses. These students are also provided a mentor to guide them through their first year. From Miner's research in 1995, this type of program could have helped students who felt lost and discouraged. In his survey, one student stated, "What I needed was a friend and a helper. If someone could have helped me, I think I might have stayed on campus. No one helped me." Arizona State University has created a similar program called the Native American Achievement Program. This program is broken up into NAAP 1 and NAAP 2. This provides students with support in both their freshman and sophomore year. This program is dedicated to those that have received scholarships from the Navajo Nation, White Mountain, and San Carlos Apache tribes. This program is a direct result of an agreement with the university and the tribes in 1996 and continues today. In addition, University of Arizona has also created the First Year Scholars Program. The University of Arizona First Year Scholars Program is considered a best practices program. It provides significant amounts of support for freshman students to navigate the university and its services. The Native American population at this university was 1.2% in 1989 and has increased to 2.7% in 2009. The program also included support in freshman composition courses, English 101 and English 102. One course was reserved at both the 101 and 102 level for 20 to 25 Native American students. The content was designed to reflect a more modern approach to include the students' identity and topics that were relevant to their communities and tribal nations. The intended result was to have more engaged students that would be willing to participate in class discussion. The same model was implemented with history, chemistry, and algebra courses. Students in this first-year program were also required to enroll in a Courses in Common study hall credit. This allowed staff to monitor the students' progress academically before problematic issues arise. As a part of this program, the Native American Student Affairs further developed programs such as the themed residential wing on campus called Autumn Key Wing, which means the People's House. The themed wing grew from 15 to 45 students in a span of 3 years. Returning scholars were asked to continue to be a part of the program to mentor the new freshmen for the following year. An event that has significant importance to the students in this program is the annual blessing ceremony of the Autumn Key Wing. This ceremony involves a spiritual leader coming to the residential wing to pray and burn either sweet grass or sage that has been blessed by a medicine man. According to Francis Begay's research, this is intended to provide protection, safety, and harmony for the residents. Students have often stated that it is a struggle being away from home and that their families experience different levels of anxiety with their children being away at college. The First Year Scholars Program take many efforts to include families in the first year to make this transition easier. It begins in the fall with a welcome and orientation and a family weekend where families can attend a barbecue and qualify to win football tickets to a University of Arizona game. In the spring, students participate in a service learning project that involves a local tribal community. And finally, the end-of-year celebration allows families to learn about the student achievements and see highlights of their first year at the University of Arizona. Based on the promising efforts of various colleges and universities, the future trend of first-year programs and Native American students looks to be growing. Students are now being supported in their education in ways that were never possible in the past. However, there are struggles that could hinder such progress, like financing. In the research by Francis Begay, it was noted that the program at the University of Arizona was made possible by an agreement between tribes and the university. Tribes and other private entities will always be very important to help sustain programs such as the First Year Scholars Program. Although retention rates are low in compared to minorities, the dedication of large universities to retain Native American students continues to grow. As you can see here, the University of Arizona was able to increase their retention rate to 75.7% from the first year to the second year. First-year programs originally were created to support students in higher education and direct a focus on academic success. The approach as to how to do this has changed over time, but but the primary struggles of a first-year college student have relatively remained the same. Initially, the relationship between Native American tribes and higher education was one of assimilation and conversion. Today, universities no longer blame Native American culture for failures in college, but see it as an essential component to help students be successful. Ongoing reflection and reevaluation is necessary for first-year programs to continue to best support Native American first-year students.